Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. Today is September 21st, 2022. Let me say it for you again. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. Good evening. September 21st, 2022. Blackjack. It's 21. Tonight, we're going to have a hot video tonight. I've been waiting on this one. Now, I say this a lot of times, I'm excited. But tonight, I'm really excited about tonight. We're going to talk about the money and Billy Hall. Now, I put up on Facebook today the entire Local 1000 Board of Directors email list. Let me say it for you again. I put up today on Facebook the Local 1000 Board of Directors entire email list. So you can tell them, restore the president, the duly elected president of Local 1000. Do it quickly. Let's stop this madness. Let's get our union together as a family. Let's bring up our membership. Let's respect the voice of the voters. But we have to first talk about this situation called Billy Hall. DOC 744 President Billy Hall. He's the guy that's been sending out all these emails through Local 1000 acting like he's the chair. Acting like he's so professional. He's so dignified that he knows what he's doing. He knows how to direct the union. He's the guy that was not elected president by no one. Not even in his own DOC 744. Let me say it for you again. He was not even elected president in his own DOC. He ran unopposed like he always does, and he gets elected. No one in his DOC likes Billy Hall. Don't even know who he is. Many of them. So, you all know about these trumped up meritless HR 1 allegation charges against me. But did you know that he also had put a lawsuit in? So, the meritless allegations, that goes to Annika Walls and Michael Gus. The trumped up lawsuit is by Billy Hall against me, against you, Local 1000, and against SEIU International. He's suing us. He wants to remove me from the union. Let me say it for you again. Billy Hall wants to kick me off the Local 1000 Board of Directors and basically remove me from the union. That's what he's trying to do. His lawyer is being paid for by guess who? You, your money, dues paying members. We're paying for his lawyer to sue me, to sue you, Local 1000, and to sue SEIU International in DC. In the June board meeting, the board overall voted to pay his lawsuit against me and against you and against SEIU International. This is who this person is, Billy Hall. He claims that he can do a better job to run the union than your duly elected president. Good evening, I see you. This is what he claims. The staff doesn't feel the same way about him. Now, the staff may tell you that Richard was out of control, but the staff doesn't tell you the whole story. Did the staff tell you that under my leadership, they got a 14% pay increase over 3 years? Did the staff tell you that? October 1st, 2021, they got a 14%, let me say it for you again, 14% pay increase over 3 years with no offsetting deductions. And they got another holiday, Juneteenth. The staff loves me. The staff loves me. They may not say it openly, but they do. I treat the staff with dignity and respect. They tell you that I abuse the staff. That's an absolute lie. More will come out on how I treat the staff. I promise you this. The staff does not like Billy Hall. I don't care all those emails that he's sending you out. There is much confusion and distrust and dishonesty and corruption within Local 1000 right now. It started on February the 27th, 2022. when their retaliatory suspension of me, when I had already suspended the 3 vice presidents. Listen to my words clearly. I had already suspended them for their duties. I suspended their duties. I didn't suspend them. I suspended them of their duties. They said I didn't do it right. That's an absolute lie. That's going to come out too. The staff loves me. If you don't think that they love me, then why did they not do a vote of no confidence against me? I'm going to say it for you again. The staff loves me. They never did a vote of no confidence against me. If they did, they never sent me that email. But they have done a vote of no confidence against Billy Hall. Let me read to you. Now, I put the picture up on the post today. Let me read to you what they said. Big, black, bold letters. Vote of no confidence. As members of United Auto Workers Local 2350, we have lost confidence in Bill Hall's leadership as chair and are therefore filing this vote of no confidence. Let's see if he talks about this tonight on his call at 6:30. Okay? SEIU Local 1000 members, DLC presidents, and chief stewards have informed UAW 2350 that Billy Hall, chair, has criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected UAW 2350 members. Listen to this. SEIU Local 1000 members, DLC presidents, and chief stewards have informed the UAW 2350, that's the Local 1000 staff, who are not management, that Billy Hall, chair, has criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected UAW 2350 members. Here's what they say. Chair Bill Hall has called staff lazy. I never called staff lazy. Chair Bill Hall has refused to communicate with UAW 2350. I had an open door policy. I never did that. Chair Bill Hall has made unsolicited negative remarks about fellow SEIU Local 1000 officers in front of UAW staff. I never criticized Local 1000 officers behind no one's back. If I had something to say to you, I said it in front of everyone. On video. Okay? But this is who he is, Billy Hall. Then it says he has directed that staff be given additional duties without regard to their overburdened workload and often without proper training and raw materials. I didn't do that. But this man who thinks he's the chair of Local 1000, Billy Hall, is giving out additional duties without regard to their overburdened workload. Remember when we did that reorganization on October 1st? A representational model versus a political model? And we were hiring more staff to alleviate the workload? Do you remember me saying this? I do. Repeatedly, over and over and over again. Hello, childhood friend. I see you. All right. Again, my name is Richard Lewis Brown, and today is September 21st, 2022. And sometimes you see me wave at people. Sometimes you see certain people come on and I'll say certain words and comments to that person to let them know I see you and I see Laskin County as well. All right, so here we go. Mr. Hall demonstrated a callous disregard for the life of UAW 2350 sister when he chose not to acknowledge her death after several requests to honor her were made at a recent staff meeting. I never, ever, ever, ever disrespected UAW staff when it comes to death. I have not disrespected anyone when it comes to a passing of someone's life on earth. But Chair Billy Hall does. That's who he is. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about Local 1000, whether it's management, whether it's the staff. He only cares about himself, and that's all. And that's why they accepted that total agreement 50 and 25 that disrespected you. When we told these people through a survey on 2 different occasions, don't take the money. He took it anyway because he doesn't care about you. He never has and he never will. Let me continue on with this vote of no confidence by 2350. UAW 2350, the local 1000 staff. We have experienced the hypocrisy, or that hypocrisy is in, or should I say, we have experienced that hypocrisy is an SEIU local leadership behavior and practice. Let me be crystal clear. When UAW 2350 says this, they're not talking about me. I ain't no hypocrite. Never have been, never will be. I'm from the state of Missouri. Show me. I call it the way I see it. I am not a hypocrite. When I told you no political spending, that's what I did. I enforced that. I say no salary stipend, I enforced it with my powers as the local 1000 duly elected president through the bylaws and policy file. I did what I said I was going to do. There is no hypocrisy here with me. And then they list out the examples of the hypocrisy. UAW 2350 members are often treated in ways that would be unacceptable for local 1000 members. Okay? UAW 2350 members have not been included as partners and stakeholders in solving the issues of membership. I didn't do that. I was working with the staff on how to grow membership. They were working with me. UAW 2350 members have not been adequately trained after numerous requests. They never had to make requests for me about training. We always provided training. I always made sure staff had the training. But the staff was always so good, they didn't really need a lot of extra training for the things we were doing. SEIU Local 1000 has no clear direction. Why doesn't Local 1000 have no clear direction? Because you're trying to remove your duly elected president that had a clear direction for you, for everyone. I had a 10-point plan that was clear, it was decisive, it was revolutionary, it caused a civil war in the union, but it was clear. You knew what I was talking about. 21% pay increase across the board for everyone equally. GO pay, COLA, no term limits for all elected leadership positions. No term requirements or time restraints to run for statewide office or any position. Stop the OPEB deduction, 3.5 OPEB. Other post-employment benefits, OPEB. The retiree health care, that's what I'm referring to. You see, I'm sweating, I don't have my air on. All right. But I want you to hear me loud and clear tonight. So they listed these examples of leadership behavior and practice as being hypocritical. They are not talking about your duly elected president, Richard Lewis Brown. So I see someone say, why all the infighting? Because this is what people do when they don't care about you. Local 1000 has a history of never caring about its membership. How can you grow membership for the long term substantially when you don't care? You're too involved acting like you're a politician. That's the reason. And that's why they don't care about you. It ain't just Billy Hall. It's quite a few of these so-called Local 1000 leaders. But I'm on him tonight. I've been waiting on this. And then finally, it says here, UAW 2350 members have raised these issues. We've been told to adapt or leave. Who does that sound like? Let me say that for you again. When UAW Local 2350 members have raised these issues, we've been told to adapt, or leave. That sounds like management. That sounds like the state of California. That sounds like Billy Hall is working for the state of California. He's not working for you and me. Because of this toxicity, we are demoralized and experienced staff have quit. Hold on a second. They said staff was quitting when I was, quote, leading Local 1000. Now they're saying experienced staff is quitting now because of Billy Hall. You should have kept who you had. But I'm not gone yet. I'm still fighting this issue. Due to SEIU's bad reputation as an employer, hiring experienced staff is difficult. Hold on a second. They're saying it's tough to get good people because of the reputation of the employer. It wasn't on me. I was barely in 8 months and they were already trying to kick me out of this union. This is the past coming back to tell you. And you wonder why I had given the staff, quote, what was it? I believe 7 days off around the holidays to build the morale of the staff so they could tell other people, so we could get more quality people to come work for Local 1000, along with that 14% pay increase. Okay? I didn't give them no 12 days off. I gave them 7 days. And those 7 days, I think 5 of those days were full, 2 of those days were half days. And there was nothing wrong with that. It did not increase the budget. This idea that I was financially misspending the money, that's a lie. Oh, did you see it on the Facebook post where I said Local 1000 gave a second $1 million to Gavin Newsom's campaign? Am I wrong? Am I? Am I wrong? They gave $200,000 to the former president, Yvonne Walker, for her CalPERS campaign. They're spending money left and right on politics. I got elected. What made me different from all the other candidates, I said no political spending at all. That's how I won the election. Local 1000 says we don't care what the members say. We're going to spend money on politics because that is what we have always done. And you've always got childlike, condescending contracts too. Let me continue on here. It says, we recognize the importance of the critical juncture of Local 1000 is experiencing, and we, the undersigned, are committed to the success of SEIU Local 1000. Respect staff is necessary to ensure the best productivity of workers. Let me repeat that for you again. Respect for staff is necessary to ensure the best productivity of workers. Well, if that's the case, staff, if that is the case, and the staff is right, UAW 2350, did the staff say respect the voters? Doesn't it start with the voters first? Who put the new president in? Who helped you? Who negotiated in good faith with you to get you a 14% pay increase over 3 years? You hadn't had a pay increase since 2006. Oh. So, they finish by saying, for the reasons described above, we have been left no choice but to submit this vote of no confidence. We believe we cannot truly move forward until we've been heard, and therefore demand a meeting with the board and the directors. Well, that's funny, UAW 2350. You said we can't truly move forward. I've been telling people that for months. You can't move forward until you recognize that the person that was elected president doesn't have his position. Off of some meritless, baseless, political, racially biased, racially motivated individuals. All right, give me one moment. Give me one moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm trying to turn the fan on so I don't sweat all over you. But I wanted to read the letter to you. I'll read it again here at 6:30. You know, UAW 2350, they're right. There's a lot of hypocrisy in this union, but it's not from Richard Lewis Brown. I've been waiting on this. I've told you repeatedly since the time they did their retaliatory suspension of me that's going to lose. Just trust me on this. It's going to lose. They're going to lose this case. They are scared. I've been telling you they are fighting on the board of directors. You say, oh, Richard, you do a lot of talking. Trust me. Well, show it. Prove it, Richard. Prove you're fighting on the board, Richard. I will. I will. The board knows it too. Billy Hall can't work with Annika. Annika Walls, duplicitous, deceitful, lying, Miss Fairweather, Annika Walls. He can't work with, David Jimenez. Okay? You may think that David Jimenez is the nice guy as the Secretary Treasurer. Remember who he associates himself with. He ran under Members for Transparency and Change, MTC. That's Annika. That's Kevin Miniger. Sophia Perkins. Those individuals. Ruth Albera. Heather Kessler. I can name more of MTC. Those people are not truthful. Remember, those 3 vice presidents together did your retaliatory suspension of me. Don't cut David Jimenez no breaks. Don't cut Billy Hall no breaks. Definitely don't cut Annika Walls no breaks. Or Irene Green. I like Irene. I do. Just going to say that because I've known her from my first day in state service. So before someone says, well, you don't ever talk about Irene Green. You don't ever bash her. Blah, 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 blah. I personally know Irene. We differ on our ideas for the union. But I like Irene. Irene likes me. And that's that. That's the truth. That's the truth. Now, back to this letter. You said, well, Richard, how did you get the letter? Does it matter how I got the letter? Did anybody else put the letter up on Facebook? And a lot of people had this letter. A lot of people had this UAW 2350 no vote of confidence about Billy Hall. Did they put it up on Facebook? Did they put it up anywhere for people to see? Where's your transparency at? Oh, well, we want to keep it hush-hush. That's an absolute lie. Every time I tried to do something in that building as the president that I thought was confidential, there was always leaking information. Always. But yet, when Billy tries to take over, nothing leaks out the building now. And you wonder why I say this is racial. Y'all don't like when I say it's racial. You know what? You need to get over yourself because I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Black Lives Matter too. They've had their foot on my neck for how many hours? How many minutes? From the time they announced on May 24th, 2021, they've had their foot on my neck trying to suffocate me. And I will not break. And I'm not dying either. So I wanted to read you the letter. In the letter it says, about a critical juncture. We've reached a critical juncture in the union. UAW 2350, they're right. We are at a critical juncture. When they have this board meeting about how they're going to handle Richard Lewis Brown and the HR1, should we keep him? Should we kick him out? What are we going to do? All these so-called smart individuals, these smarty people on the board of directors. I hope that common sense and respect for the voters will finally come out and finally ring true. I should have never been suspended to a retaliatory suspension. They hate me. They hate everything about me. You say it's not about you, Richard. Let me tell you something. I am you and you are me. This is about us. But you're not the president who won the election in 2021. I did. With your support. You and me together, it's the same person. Maybe I haven't explained that. I haven't articulated that correctly for you. For some of you, I have to say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and you still can't catch on. But I'm still with you. I'm the only one that does these videos live, unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed, and tells any of these so-called Local 1000 leaders, come on here and let's go to work. And let's talk and let's have a dialogue, you and me, one-on-one, in front of everyone else. And then we'll let the people see who has the true spirit of integrity, of honesty, of trying to help them. That's when we'll find out. But these so-called leaders want to hide and run. And when they go to work sites, they don't put their work sites up on videos because you don't know what they're saying at those work sites about me, about you, about other people in Local 1000. Because they're liars. They're lying, lying, lying. They can put together nicely worded emails. They're very articulate. They're very well put together. But it means nothing. It's garbage. Some of you like being abused and being in bad relationships. You like the energy of negativity. You like that. It's like a reality TV show. You like being bashed upside your head. And then you don't get a substantial pay increase. Your boss is hassling you on the job. And then you say, well, my union won't help me. What did you do? Did you vote in the last election? Did you make sure your vote was honored in the last election? Or did you just vote and just walk away and say, I did my part? It ain't that easy in this country. Sometimes you have to vote and put the work in. Well, I've said a lot, kind of quickly. We started at 6:01 p.m. this evening. I'm going to start letting people in here in the Zoom. I'm letting them in right now. I've been talking and talking. I wish everyone had Facebook. I wish everyone could get could come on my Zoom. It would make things a lot easier. But I like talking live on Facebook and watching comments. And I also like, people on Zoom, when they come on, they can raise their hand and ask me questions. Some people on Facebook are afraid to come on live, right? I press the button and I bring you on live on split screen.
You're muted, so we can't hear you.
Thank you. So I was saying, I wish people could all come on Zoom and on Facebook at the same time. Some people come on the Zoom and they can raise their hand. Some people on Facebook make comments that I like to respond to while I'm talking to those on Zoom. Some people on Facebook want to talk, but they don't want to come on the video with me, which is a shame. Oh, so a question is, when is the verdict coming up for the restoration of your position? No time soon. Hopefully here, I don't know exactly when, but they'll have a board meeting. Now, they'll try to have that board meeting closed off. So Scott Schmidt, I put up all the emails of the board members today. You should email all of them and say, put your president back in. And when they have that hearing or that board meeting, you should ask them, do not have that meeting closed. Scott Schmidt. All the emails are on my Facebook post for the entire board. There's no excuse. Everyone that says, what can I do? Now you have the whole email list of the board. You can email all of them. You can email Gavin Newsom. I put that in the comments on my Facebook post as well. So when people say, well, what can we do to show action, Richard? I have told you repeatedly, over and over and over again. I'll make sure to make the subject oil around or nothing. Thank you for the respect, Scott. Thank you for the respect. I have said, are you on Facebook? Are you doing Twitter? Are you doing Instagram? Are you talking to your coworkers? Can you prove it? Some people, one person that's on Facebook actually sent his DLC president an email, and he sent me a copy of it. He shut my mouth down. He proved it. And I'm from Missouri. Show me. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. Now, I'm telling you what they're trying to do. If I'm not your president, you're a 21% pay increase across the board. All right, so someone's asking who's the DLC president for DOR headquarters. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't want to guess. Go look on our website, SEIU Local 1000 website. Look on the map, and you should be able to click on it, and then you should be able to figure out who your DLC president is. But you should email the entire board, not just your DLC president. Email the whole board. That way I know you have done it. All right, 6:30. Oh, we're going to start all over again, so here we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. Today is September 21st, 2022, Blackjack. And I told you it's going to be a hot night tonight. I've been waiting on this. Let's get right to it. I said on my Facebook post earlier, did you know about the second $1 million that Gavin Newsom got from Local 1000 for his campaign to be reelected? Did you know about the $200,000 that Yvonne Walker received for her retiree campaign bid? Did you know about it? That's why you have the entire board of directors emails on Facebook so you can email them. And if they say that's not true, show us the financials. Ask them why when Richard Lewis Brown, your duly elected president, has asked for all the financial expenditures from February 27th forward, they will not give them to me because they know what they've done. All right, let's get right to the point here. Here, I'm going to do a screen share. Everyone that came on time, we're going to go through this screen share. I'm going to go through this all over again on the UAW. Here we go. Listen to this, everyone, on Facebook and on Zoom. Billy Hall, DOC 744 President Billy Hall, who thinks he's the chair, UAW 2350 staff, that's our local 1000 staff who's not in management, UAW 2350, that's the local 1000 staff that's not in management, they're not state employees. Don't send me an email asking me a lot of questions. I've said this over and over and over again. They've done a vote of no confidence against Billy Hall, DOC 744 President. They never did one against me. Let's read it. Vote of no confidence. Big black letters, title. Here we go. As members of United Auto Workers Local 2350, we have lost confidence in Bill Hall's leadership as chair and are therefore following his vote of no confidence. Quick question. Why did they even have confidence in him to begin with? Because he lied and manipulated them? Possibly. Why did they not respect the voice of the voters who elected Richard Lewis Brown, myself, in May of 2021 to be the new Local 1000 president and take us out of politics? What was UAW saying about that? They said, well, we have to be quiet. We can't get involved in that. Okay, but you're involved now. You're involved now. So you can't handpick when you want to be involved and when you don't want to be involved. Either be involved or don't be involved. Let's move on. SEIU Local 1000 members, DOC presidents and chief stewards have informed UAW 2350 that Bill Hall, chair, has criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected UAW 2350 members. Is that a surprise? It shouldn't be. Look how he's doing me. But again, I'm a black man. My life doesn't really have value. Yeah, I said it too. And I'm not backing up. Local 1000 members, DLC presidents, and chief stewards have informed UAW 2350 that Bill Hall, chair, has criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected UAW 2350 members. Criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected. But see, he's a white man. He can do that. You said, well, don't make this a racial issue. I'm going to tell you this again tonight. I ain't backing up. This is a racial issue and a political issue. They're mixed in together. I've never bent on my words. I've never lost my integrity. I've never lost my intensity. This is what it is. If you don't like what I'm saying, please find something else to watch tonight. I'm not begging you. I'm telling you this is what it is. Let's move on. Now to give examples. Chair Bill Hall has called staff lazy. I never called staff lazy. They got a 14% pay increase over 3 years, and they got Juneteenth, an additional holiday, and I provided for this year, calendar year 2022, 7 days off around the holidays to increase morale, to let them know that I love them and I respect them, and for too many years, they've been disrespected. I never called them lazy. Chair Bill Hall has refused to communicate with UAW 2350. I always communicated with the UAW 2050 president and anyone else. They can call me, they can email me, they have my personal cell number, because you have my personal cell number, because everyone, the whole world has my personal cell number. Chair Bill has made unsolicited negative remarks about fellow SEIU Local 1000 officers in front of UAW staff. What's new? He doesn't like Annika. Annika doesn't like Bill. David doesn't like Billy Hall, and Billy Hall definitely doesn't like David. He doesn't care about no one but himself. He tells you, I'm going to these work sites. Look what I'm doing. I never told you what I did when I went to work sites, because he's following my lead like they all do. They always follow my lead. When I was going to work sites and waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I didn't tell you that. I got my ass to those work sites and I put it on video. And everything I said on video, at those work sites, you knew what I was talking about. You don't know what that man's doing at those work sites. You don't know if he's really there or not. Because when they go to these work sites, they're lying, they're defaming me. And when they lie about me, what they're really lying about is the democracy of this great country. That's what they're lying about. Defaming democracy. Trying to destroy democracy. If you allow these individuals to quote, remove me from this union, kick me off the board, then that tells me not only do you lack respect for yourself, not only do you lack respect for the military veterans who is going to die for you so you can continue to have democracy in this country, but what it tells me about you is that you don't even love who you are. And you don't love this country. Let's move on. Chairman Bill Hall has directed that staff be given additional duties without regard to their overburdened workload and often without proper training and raw materials. Giving them extra duties to work. I didn't do that. I said, staff, you do your job to the best of your ability. We're going to make this a representational style union. Get out of politics. We're going to hire more staff so we don't overwork you anymore. And we're going to pay you a 14% pay increase over 3 years. Substantial pay increase. You ain't had one since 2006. And give you more time off from work to be with your families because I'm not a hypocrite. I want a 21% pay increase. And they should have got a 21% pay increase. They should have got, UAW 2350 should have got a 21% pay increase. Why did it not happen, Richard? Stay tuned. Oh my God, stay tuned. Chair Bill Hall has demonstrated a callous disregard for the life of UAW 2350's sister when he chose not to acknowledge her death after several requests to honor her were made at a recent staff meeting. That's horrendous. That's disgusting. That tells you that the only person he cares about is himself. I would never have done that to Local 1000, to anyone, whether they're part of Local 1000 or outside of Local 1000. When a person loses their life, we must show respect. And even though a lot of people said, hey, Queen Elizabeth II, she passed away, and some people said, well, we don't want to respect that. Because of all the things that England was associated with before her time and during her time, when someone loses their life, let us have a measure of respect. Period. Chair Billy Hall can't even do that. But he tells you he's fighting for you. He's not fighting for you, and he never will. Like I told you, all those elections where he was being elected president of DLC 744, he ran unopposed. People don't even like him in his DLC. If I'm lying, then take me to his DLC, invite me to his DLC, and let him come down and let us have a conversation. And let's see where the people say, I believe in Billy over Richard. But they'll never say that, and he knows that. Continuing on, we have experienced that hypocrisy is an SEIU Local 1000 leadership behavior and practice. They're not talking about me. I was barely in office 7 to 8 months before they're trying to run me out of here. So they're not talking about me. They're talking about people who've been part of this status quo political culture for all of these years. They're not talking about Richard Lewis Brown. Oh, no, they're not. If they are, then come on this video and let us do a live conversation. UAW 2350. I can back up my mouth, can you? Now to give examples, UAW 2350 members are often treated in ways that would be unacceptable for Local 1000 members. Okay? UAW 2350 members have not been included as partners and stakeholders in solving the issues of membership. See, that's the difference between someone who doesn't know what they're doing versus someone who's inspired by God that's been sent here to help you. I didn't have that problem. I involved staff. Staff loved me. I said it earlier before I started this Zoom. I said staff loved me. They were too afraid to acknowledge it. And that's the problem with staff and some of us people here in Local 1000. When you're too afraid to acknowledge who I am and that you believe in me because it doesn't fit the status quo, you're going to get some criticism, you're going to get ridiculed, you're going to get defamed, you're going to get demeaned because you're afraid, because you're living in fear. I can't win with those who are afraid to live and challenge the status quo. I can't win with people who are afraid. Winners are not afraid. Either you step out and do it in faith, or you stay home and lose. I'm going to say this for you again. UAW 2350, a lot of you love me. I know you do. A lot of the managers at this union love me too. But you can't acknowledge me out in the open. When all the truth comes out, praise God for Jesus Christ. When all the truth comes out and I have to lay out all the pay increases that the staff got, 14%, some got more than 14%. When I have to lay it all out and it's coming. Many of you will say, Richard, we didn't know. Because you didn't want to take time to listen to me. You didn't want to take time to call me. Let me continue on here. UAW 2350 members have not been adequately trained after numerous requests. That never happened under my leadership. We always had training. They knew what they were doing. And the training that some of the people had to get was being done. They never had to come to me and say, we need more training. We need more money. We need more time off. They never came to me and said nothing like that to me. Hold on a second. Elizabeth Collins, she says 7 to 8 months. She's on Facebook. Try 7 to 8 minutes. You have been acknowledged by the executive committee since before you were sworn in. What Elizabeth Collins is saying, that there was a conspiracy to remove me through the H01 process before I was sworn in on June 27th, 2021. But let me run back to that staff for a second. There's a lot of staff who love me, who respect me. And I love and respect all of the staff at UAW 2350. And even when they were mad at me and they did that march on me, I said, let them march. I'm not writing them up. I'm not asking them for their doctor's notes. Because I respect unions. Because I respect and love myself. And so to UAW 2350, who believe in me, I believe in you. And someone says, well, how did you even get this thing? Don't worry about how I got this UAW 2350 vote of no confidence letter. The question is, why hasn't the board of directors put up this vote of no confidence letter on Facebook to tell the truth, to show their leadership? Why haven't they done that? I am so happy that UAW 2350 got a 14% pay increase. You should have got 21. I'm so happy you got a huge pay increase over 3 years with no offsetting deductions along with Juneteenth. And I'm sorry that this so-called local 1000 leadership right now doesn't love and respect you. And so finally, at the end here of these examples, they say SEIU Local 1000 has no clear direction. You didn't have that problem until February 27th, 2022, with the retaliatory suspension of me. UAW 2350 staff, they had my phone number, they had my email. They could call me anytime, just like you. I treated everyone with fairness and respect. And some of the UAW 2350 people would call me, just like management at Local 1000 would call me and talk to me about things. Anytime. I put you in front of myself. Yeah, so I don't have a life. Oh well, that's my problem. But I still put this union in front of everything else that I've done for these last few years, or should I say since 2012. Let me finish you on this letter here. I've been going for 15 minutes. When UAW 2350, when UAW Local 2350 members have raised these issues, we've been told to adapt or leave. That type of mentality that Billy Hall is giving out is the same mentality as the state of California. You don't like it, get out of here. We don't care about your dignity. We control you. But yet Billy Hall tells you he's fighting for you. He's not fighting for you. I don't care how many emails Local 1000 sends out 2 or 3 times a week to make it look like everything's so hunky-dory. It's a complete line of BS. And then the rest of this says, because of the toxicity, we are demoralized and experienced staff have quit. Remember when they were saying the staff was all quitting because of my leadership? That was an absolute lie. Staff was quitting because I said no political spending. And some of the staff wanted to continue their political ways. And they couldn't handle it. It wasn't because of my behavior. It wasn't because I wasn't treating them correctly. But now, experienced staff have quit under, quote, the leadership of the chair, Billy Hall, the illegally created chair position. Due to SEIU's bad reputation as an employer, hiring experienced staff is difficult, and you wonder why I was pushing to get them a 21% pay increase across the board for all of UAW 2350. Now, they only got 14. Why did they only get 14%? You just don't know how bad I want to tell the truth. I want to tell it all. I do. Oh my God, I want to tell it all. Wasn't because of me. And I haven't released no confidential information about those contract negotiations. But I'm telling you, I wanted you to have that 20% pay increase. You only got 14, 7 off. And then you wonder why I was teasing when we didn't pass the budget. And I said, well, you know, woo, I get you the other 7%. Remember I was teasing you about that? There's a reason why. I don't tease. I know exactly what I'm saying. I've always been for the staff. It's too bad the staff couldn't have really been there for me. Let me move on here. We recognize the importance of the critical juncture Local 1000 is experiencing, and we, the undersigned, are committed to the success of SEIU Local 1000. Respect for staff is necessary. Let me repeat that for you. Respect for staff is necessary to ensure the best productivity of workers. Before you can respect the staff, can we first please respect the voters' voices on who put who into office for the president of Local 1000? Can we start there first? Because if you can't respect the voice of the voters, then you can't respect nothing else. Because you don't respect yourself. To wrap things up, for the reasons described above, we have been left with no choice but to submit this vote of no confidence. We believe we cannot truly move forward until we have been heard, and therefore demand a meeting with the board and the directors. UAW 2350, you can always reach out to me. I never turned you away. Oh, no, I did not. We may not have always agreed, but you got paid off of me. You got time off because of me. When I took office on June 30th, 2021, you was getting time off during the holidays. Additional time off. Oh, yes, you was. You never got it before. I guess Billy ain't helping you right now. Well, you should have thought about that when this man did his coup attempt along with the 3 vice presidents. Did you think about that then? UAW 2350? Did you think about that then? Or did you think the grass was going to be greener with Billy than Richard Lewis Brown? You made a mistake, UAW 2350. You got your money from me, you got Juneteenth off, an additional holiday, and then you kind of turned on me. It sounds like maybe you used me. Now Billy is using you. What comes around goes around. Or maybe I'm confused and I don't understand, I don't have enough information. Have you ever seen such silliness in your life, outside of your family, outside of reality TV shows? Have you? I put up the entire board of directors email list on my Facebook post today. You can copy it. It's not hard. I told you what to say in the email and send it. I've done all the work for you. I've given you Gavin Newsom's email. I've done all the work for you. And some of you still won't do anything. And then you'll sit back and complain and say that Richard Lewis Brown doesn't have a game plan. Let me tell you something. I've always had a game plan. Just because I don't tell everybody every single thing I do because I have some strategy behind it doesn't mean I don't have a game plan. This is the truth about Billy Hall. He doesn't care about you or anyone else. This UAW 2350 vote of no confidence, the membership will find this out. They're going to get this. I hope that you take this picture off of Facebook and send it to everyone in your worksite. I told you UAW 2350, UAW Local 2350. I never got a vote of no confidence from them. If they did, I never got that email. And trust me, if they had something to say, they would have wrote it out and made sure I responded to them. Some people say, hey, we have to, we need support of the members and new members. Until you respect the voice of the voters, how can you encourage new membership? How can you do that? We tell people, be a member so you can vote and have a role in the leadership of the union. And then when you do vote and the person that you voted for wins, they try to remove him out of office. They don't try to recall him. They try to go through some other political BS. This is the hypocrisy that UAW 2350 is talking about. All right. So I'm going to stop this screen share for a moment. All right. And I'm going to start taking questions. I've talked for about 21 minutes. Now I'm going to take questions off of Zoom, and I'll try to also respond to people on Facebook. So if I take a question off of Zoom and I cut you off for a quick second, because someone on Facebook has said something that's really important, I want to address it before I forget. All right, so I see the first hand raised is a Derek Rowe. Go ahead, Derek.
Good evening, Mr. President. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you, first of all, for presenting that screen share. That's one of the key things that I really missed in our union at this time is the transparency. And they can only get it right here every Wednesday night. This is the only call that ever has or ever will matter on Wednesdays. It's right here. I kind of been tuning back and forth between this call and the other call, and the numbers don't lie. The other call right now has only 5 viewers on there, and that was including myself. So I think the numbers speak for themselves. People don't want to hear hot garbage.
Well, wait. Hold on, Derek. Anyone that's on Facebook that said that they didn't get an invitation to the Zoom, you can go to my Facebook page. The link's right there, and you can jump on Zoom right now. So I try to send the Zoom link to people who normally come, but I always put the Zoom link up on my Facebook page either a day or 2 days before the Zoom tonight. Second thing real quick, Derek, just because you only see 5 or 6 people watching Billy Hall tonight doesn't mean that if they keep the video up, more people will come and watch it later. So, okay, go ahead, Derek.
Well, that's fair to say, but let's just be honest. I mean,
right.
I know that I've been posting certain things on the SCIU website in the comment section. A few of my comments have already gotten deleted, so I don't even bother going on there anymore. They only put up what they want to put up, what they want to hear. So when you're out here putting these PowerPoints up, it kind of opens the eye up a little bit. It kind of makes us question things more. And I want to thank you right now for never giving up or taking a break on us. While these guys are out there taking these vacations, these extravagant vacations to Norway, or they quote unquote claim they're going on worksite tours, you've been hard at work, and I know you're still giving it straight talk to us every week, and I want to thank you for that.
Okay. And you know what, Derek? Wait, Derek, before you hang up, I want to go back to something you said that I haven't talked much about on video. You talked about when you go on some of these Facebook pages, you put up posts or you share my posts and then they get deleted. Let me say this to you. Everyone has to mute themselves on Zoom. Let me say this to you. Hold on. Everyone has to mute themselves on Zoom here. I have to mute everyone. Okay, so I have been banned from so many Facebook pages because they don't want to hear the truth. They have me banned from even our Local 1000 Facebook page and Twitter. And I'm the president that was duly elected. And even though, quote, they tried to suspend me, and everyone thinks that I'm suspended, and because the court, the Sacramento Superior Court judge upheld it currently, because he doesn't have all the information, this is wrong. See, this is about cancel culture. People get on Facebook and they want to talk tough, and then when someone challenges them, then they want to get mad and delete your posts. Derek, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so, go ahead, Derek.
No, I was just going to say, it's unfortunate. It really is. As someone who pays dues, and I paid a lot of money into this union over the last almost close to a decade now, I would think that they would have the common decency on a public page that I have, to my understanding, my union privilege to go on there and address what I need to address on there, and they're going to hold me back from my privileges. I mean, I feel like those are some of the rights and benefits that we are allotted if we're paying dues into this union. I don't know.
Well, wait a minute. So everyone on Facebook, I want people to know this. The Local 1000 Facebook page, as a dues-paying member, Derek makes a great point. If you're a dues-paying member, you should be allowed to go on that Facebook page and make your comments. But they don't do that. They don't do that. Other Facebook pages that are not authorized by Local 1000, whoever is the administrator can let anybody they on or kick off anybody they want. But on the SEIU Local 1000 Facebook page, that's an official page by Local 1000, we as dues-paying members should be able to go on there with an opposing viewpoint and not be silenced. But they don't do that. That's not what they do. When I was still, had my full powers, everybody came on there was trashing me. I didn't stop it. Because people were entitled to their opinion. So that's a great point. And I want people to understand that vote of no confidence picture that I put up on my Facebook page talking about DLC 744 President Billy Hall. If UAW 2350 had recognized from the very beginning that the chair position was illegally created and held their ground, they wouldn't be going through this right now. They would not be going through this right now. And all the things that they said about him, I believe is accurate. I mean, I'm sure he has his opinion, but I believe that it's accurate. No clear direction for the union. They never said that when I was still with my full powers and running this union. They didn't say that. There was a clear direction. Money. Money, money, money. And no one doubted it. They may not like my delivery of my words. They may not have liked my style, upfront, direct, no BS. But everybody knew I was serious. Everybody knew that, even my enemies. And as Elizabeth Collins stated on Facebook, I didn't have 7 to 8 months. I had 7 to 8 minutes. That's a great point that she made. That's a brilliant point. Not 7 to 8 months, more like 7 to 8 minutes from the time they announced on May 24th, 2021. And now UAW 2350 is talking about the hypocrisy. The staff's not being treated fairly. No clear direction. Being given all this extra work to do. And all I try to do is take work off of their hands and hire more staff. And make it just about representation and get out of politics. I try to help staff every which way but loose. And some of the staff knows it because a lot of the staff got more than a 14% pay increase over 3 years. Some of them. I bent over backwards for the staff. I just wanted things to work in a more smooth fashion, work more smoothly, in a smoother fashion. Get rid of the status quo of the past. I didn't call the staff lazy. I tried to get them paid as much as possible. There was still money left on that table. And no, I'm not going to tell you the confidentiality of those negotiations with UAW 2350. Nope. Can't do that. But I'm telling you, and I hope UAW 2350, I hope you come and watch this video tonight. There's a lot of stuff that needs to come out. I wanted you to get paid money. How can I ask for a 21% pay increase without asking it for you too? I am not a hypocrite. The board of directors is fighting among themselves right now. Oh, we have a hand raised. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to Roxy. Hi, Roxy.
Hi, President Brown. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Confused.
Talk to me.
So here's my question.
Sure.
I just thought it was kind of ironic that all of this happened with you and whoever these people are, right around the time that they wanted to donate money to Yvonne Walker for her campaign in Calgary. Okay, that's one. Two, in my unknowledge, I guess, I thought that if the president was not operating, that the vice president stepped in, which would be David Jimenez. So how did we get to Bill Hall? Three.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so hold on. Wait a minute. I'm writing this down so I don't miss. So I'm writing down the first thing to give the $200,000 to Yvonne. Then you asked about how did the chair come about? Okay, and what's the third one?
What's the difference of them going to Norway to get information on a prison and you going to Lansing County trying to help them at the prison?
Oh.
One.
No, you're right. I'm listening.
So, my thing is, right now, that's why I'm working on getting you down here.
Okay.
My office, and the only reason they haven't walked away is because you said so. But we had a talk.
I tell you what, if you set this up for Lancaster DMV, I'm going on record at 7:03 p.m. When you set this up, I'm going to show up and I'm going to put it on video and I'm going to let that DMV at Lancaster drill me on every question in the book. And I don't want the questions ahead of time. And I will put it on video on my phone, live Facebook, and I will answer every question. And I won't walk away from anything. Period.
Got it.
Okay, now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back in reverse order. The difference between them going to Norway versus me going to Lansing County. They were sent to Norway because SCIU International wanted Local 1000 to go to Norway. SCIU International, our parent company in Washington, D.C., sent different people from different locals across America, most likely, to Norway to study the prison system. But they did it under the quote, the guise of another organization called One Voice. But One Voice got their money from SCIU International. SCIU International gets its money from the different locals, including us. The decision to use any of those ideas from Norway has already been decided and agreed upon between Governor Gavin Newsom, CDCR, and those in Norway. So now they'll send the union people over there, and then they'll bring those ideas back. But the ideas that they bring back that they're going to use was already decided. But it's a front, so it looks like the union is fighting and getting things done for you. Hey, we went to Norway, we brought these ideas back, and we implemented it with the state. The state agreed to it. No, the state had already agreed to it. That's a con game. What they did not want was me going to Lansing County and fighting for jobs because we're under a signed contract. This governor, along with all the prior governors, they don't care if you're under a signed contract. When they want to take your job from you, you're a state employee, you don't mean nothing to them. Look how they pay you. So they'll take your job under a signed contract. So what? Adapt, quit, get over it, retire. The last thing they ever expected was a guy to win an election against the incumbent who never lost in 4 elections. She lost. And then the guy that wins goes up to red Lansing County, who are mainly Republicans, win them over. And then the guy happens to be black. That's not how that doesn't fit the picture. And I was told, do not go up to Lassen County around those white people. Obviously, they didn't do their homework on me. I'm from Missouri. I know about white people. City white people, country white people. I know about white people. There's someone on here right now that really knows that I know. So I wasn't afraid to go to Lassen County. But they didn't want that, because that's what a labor leader does. He fights for your job, because if you're under a signed contract as a union, you should never lose your job. Unless it's in that contract that, quote, if you can lose your job while under this contract, then you should be able to go on strike. You shouldn't have a no strike clause. Because in the private sector, when you sign that contract, they can't take that job away from you until the end of that contract. But public sector, they try to act funny. That's what they do. That's real talk. I'm the only one in this union that tells you these things. Let me go back to number 2. How did the chair position come about? All right, it's 7:07. Let me see if I can be how brief I can say this and be succinct. They announced on May 24th, 2021, I won the election. Immediately, NTC, Annika Walls, David Jimenez, Kevin Meninger, Harold Fong, Ruth Albera, oh gosh, and a few other people held telephone conferences on how to use the HR1 process to remove me from office. The key was to remove me using the HR1 as the process. Not a recall, but the HR1 process. So that's why they were so heavily invested to make sure that Kevin, who was running for VP of bargaining, won that position. Because if he had won that position, then they could have, quote, suspended me in August. That's what they were going to do. But wait a minute, things get a little bit trickier. So MTC wants to remove me through the HR1 process. In the meantime, Miguel Cordova and his slate, they lost and they said fine. They had some respect about themselves, a lot of respect. But Yvonne's people wasn't having it. So they started planning on how can we get this individual out of office. And they said, you know what? We'll just take all his powers from him. And so what we'll try to do is create this chair and take all of his powers from him. We'll give all the powers to the chair. So they think, I'm just going to say this. I'm tired. I'm just tired. They think that they can win this in court. You cannot substantially change the structure of a non-benefit, a non-profit mutual benefit corporation without going to membership. But they think they can. So they created the chair. And they took all the powers from the president and gave it to the chair. You can't do that. They know that. But they're hoping the judge will give them favor and say, we created this chair, the board decided on it, and that's good enough. That's BS, because the members did not vote for that. The members voted for the president with these powers to get things done off the 10-point platform that gave clear direction. But you have people on the board who refused to stand up for me and fight for me because they were afraid that what I was going through, that they would be next. And there's some truth to that. But this is where it comes down to your integrity. How much integrity do you have? Do you have the fortitude, the determination to fight the battle? But this is what they have done. So when they sent all these emails, him acting as the board chair, it's illegal. Who's establishing the union leave? Is it the board chair or is it the acting president, David Jimenez? Now I put up on there how they were already arguing in the email. I had those emails. How Billy tried to throw David underneath the bus and say that, hey, I told Annika to not do this and blah, blah, blah. And then David came right back and said, hey, hold on a second. You approved union leave for another person that went on that trip. So what are you talking about? Because they're all liars. And it starts with a lie because of the jealousy and the envy in their heart, because they lack the self-esteem to run for president themselves, because they didn't have the self-esteem, the integrity, the courage to take on the incumbent. They're not fighters. And therefore, they're not going to fight for you to get a substantial contract. They're going to continue the childlike, condescending contract. Continue the childlike, condescending contract. There's your 4 C's, and they're not very good. That's the truth. So I was, talking loud earlier, but now I'm trying to get it to you in a different tone of voice on some of this other stuff. Maybe this voice will reach you. They can't create this chair. If the members all email that entire board, I'm going to tell you something right now, Roxy. If the members even represent employees, it doesn't matter. Because represent employees are still represented in that contract. And I, as a president, was going to ensure the contract's being enforced. If you take the president out of his position, you're really robbing the represent employees of their ability as well to, quote, have their contract rights enforced. If everyone was to email all the board of directors and say, hey, look, put Richard back with his powers, let Richard continue on so we can get paid our money and stop this madness. If everyone did that, they would stop this. But people don't want to do it. People don't care. Many people in my own bargaining unit 1 who are college educated like me, they're not going to waste their time or energy with Local 1000 because they know in their heart Local 1000 is hot garbage. You don't have a signed contract and then give up 2 days of pay. You don't do stupid stuff like that. We have a contract, honor the doggone contract. I don't care about COVID. I don't care about AIDS. I don't care about any type of pandemic, epidemic, whatever. You have a contract, honor the contract. But our union doesn't do that because we've had leaders who lack self-esteem. They're only in it for themselves because they don't even love themselves. So how can they love you when they don't love who they are? They don't respect who they are. Now let me get back to your point 1. The problems that I started having came around the time they wanted to give the former President Yvonne Walker that money to run for the CalPERS retiree seat back in February. You know, Roxy, you're the first person to say that live on video. That's why I went from 3 to 2 to 1. You're the first person to catch that live on video. I don't have anything against the former president. I don't. I said on video, I think 2 videos ago, I wish her nothing but success in her retiree life and to get every dime she paid into that CalPERS and then some. Live a long life in your retirement. I wish you nothing but success. If she wants to run for the CalPERS seat, I wish her nothing but success. Someone said, well, Richard, if you had to vote for her in the retiree seat, would you? I'd say no, I would not. I would not. And I'd show you my vote. But I wish her success. If I still had all my powers, would she have gotten her money? No, she would not. And she knows that. You know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. Because if I would have gave her that money, and I didn't tell y'all that, and it would have leaked out, boy, my voters would have said, you know what, we done. Because I know how my voters are. My voters are not activist voters. But when you, everything I've done, those 2,637 voters have put up with my mouth, my behavior, on good days and on bad days. But if I renege on that 10-point platform, they're gone. They're done. And they'll never come back to this union. Because they recognize sincerity. And I speak with sincerity and with truth. Righteous truth. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So those 3 questions that you ask are hard-hitting questions. Really didn't want to answer them. But I do a lot of talking. So when someone calls my card, I got to call back. Go ahead, Roxy.
Okay. Thank you for that. That was a lot of clarification.
I'm doing the best I can. And when I come down to DMV, I'll say the same thing all over again.
With my office, I have a hard time with saying, okay, they say stay a member because you get to vote, you get to make a difference, and all these things. But if you voted for a president that they took and did this to, what does that say that your vote means?
Again, Roxy, you're on fire tonight, Roxy. Remember, the most important thing about being a member is being able to vote. That was part of my 10-point platform. Stop making people pay money to vote. It's not right in this country. As a black man, I'm deeply offended by that because they control your wages and working conditions under the exclusive representative clause, which Justice Alito in the Supreme Court says is a violation of people's freedom. So when they say that, and you say, well, if you're taking away my vote and I voted for Richard Lewis Brown, why should I stay a member? Roxy, you're right. Because those other entertainment discounts don't mean anything. The life insurance, the home mortgages, if you're a member that you're entitled to, now that's different. That's financial, and some people like that. Others do not. But the critical point is voting. You pay your money so you can vote to ratify contracts and for leadership that brings the contracts to you. And if they won't respect your vote, then what do you really have? You don't have anything.
Correct.
Yeah, and I don't. The only thing I could say, because I can tell you, hey, you got to stay strong. Because I've told people, please don't quit. Because what they're trying to do, Roxy, people like yourself who have voted for me, those 2,637 people who voted for me, they want you to quit like months ago. They don't want you around. They want to make you quit. People who have supported me have quit. They want every person that stood up openly and transparently for Richard Lewis Brown, they want you to quit. They don't want you around because you're in their way. You're stopping the status quo. That's the truth. Because you're stopping them from railroading me. As long as the supporters come on these videos and they still support me, they text message me, they call me, they email me, Facebook message me, Instagram me, because I'm being watched. And when they see that I still have that type of support, they realize we have to destroy him through the H1 process and through the Sacramento Superior Court process. We have to destroy him. Which means they got to destroy my supporters as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
This is going to be a tight one, but
Oh
it's my
boy.
question.
Oh boy. Okay.
Richard, Mr. President,
Yes.
why the hell did you not clean house before this all hit?
Oh God. Oh. You know what, Roxy? You must be like.
Fed up.
You know what? Listen. Oh God. Woo. Let me take a pause for a moment. Why didn't I fire and clean house? Okay. Now, listen to this. This is how racism comes into play. People say, Richard, don't talk about racism so much. Let me tell you how this comes into play on this. They say I'm crazy, I'm unconventional, I'm confrontational. In fact, gosh, I got these other two slides to prove this racism that I've been talking about, and I'm going to show them here after I try to get to these other two people's questions of their hands raised. The reason why I did not clean house, I went in there on June 30th expecting to meet Margarita Maldonado. She had been fired. So I had somebody with me named Donna Snodgrass. She was going to help me, so she volunteered to be my chief of staff. And I said, we have to really clean house. And she said, no, don't do that. If you do, I won't work with you. So to show Donna Snodgrass, who became my chief of staff until they fired her, that I could work with her and that I could work with people, and this idea that I was a crazy person that was just going to run through it and just destroy everything, I did not, quote, clean house. If I had possibly been by myself on that day, can I tell you 1,000% that I would have cleaned house? Let me put it to you like this. You got me quiet now. If God puts me back into that position with my full powers, would I clean house then? I would say this to you. I've always told you the only people that can call my card are my voters. And when my voters all rally together and say, hey, Richard, we put you in this position. We expect blah, 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 blah. Then I don't have a choice. I've always said that. Because people said, you need to learn how to get along with the board because they can call your card. But that's not how I got here. I got here off of people like Roxy Walker. So I remember the people who put me in this position to be called president. And if they all say, hey, we get ready to send you an email, you back in your position with your power, we expect blah, 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 then I feel compelled. But I know how to correct things. But a lot of times I've been too nice to people, which I've been told. There's a person on this Zoom right now that told me, Richard, so-and-so got to go. What you waiting on? Well, this person on this Zoom call was 1,000% correct on this particular person. And I didn't do it. And that's my fault. And so I have to own that mistake, Roxy.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right.
I know this is a tough one, but
Yeah. You was hitting, yeah. Okay, as you can see, these calls are unscripted, unedited, because a lot of times when you see me get quiet and I start gasping, because I'm being caught, I'm being hooked. And I know I gotta be honest, and every word that I say, yes, I saw that comment on Zoom. I just saw your comment. But every word that I say will be used against me. Every word that I say. All right, Yolanda Williams, thanks for your patience. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Hi, brothers and sisters. This is in regards to transparency and the fact stated that you gave you gave some SEIU workers more than the 14%. Well, my question is, being that we are paying dues and now this is our money, paying these extra fees, which, I mean, they deserve raise, okay. But being a member and paying our money, we need to know exactly how did you come up with who gets more than 14%? How did you do that, Mr. Brown? I'm just curious.
Some of those people were in management.
Oh.
So I can't talk about the management situation, but it's a little tricky because I was trying to prevent people from leaving Local 1000. I was trying to increase morale, and some people were sad and depressed over certain situations. So I tried to do things to keep people happy on the staff and management.
I understand.
Now, some people in UAW 2350, hold on, I'm trying to remember correctly. Yes, one person comes to mind, and that one person, I believe, got more than 14%. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain of this. Now, I don't rat people out. And when I go off on these videos and I want to run my mouth because I got so much to say, this is why they watch my videos so closely, because they want to continue to harass me and use everything I say against me. And, someone said, Richard, if they kick you out of the union where you can just run your mouth and say anything, will they continue to try to sue you? Yes. But a lot of stuff's going to come out, but it won't come out through me. And I won't have anything to do with it. But a lot of stuff will come out about Local 1000. And what's going to come out is Richard was never the problem. Remember?
Well, I appreciate your answer, and that's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
And I also want to say that if I had a boss like you, I mean, that would be fantastic. Somebody really working to make me happy, so I won't leave. I mean, come on.
Well,
Everybody on this call hear that? I mean,
Right, but wait a minute. Remember what I said? They portrayed me as being this confrontational, angry black man. So I'm fighting that racist stereotype. So I'm going above and beyond to defeat the stereotype where Billy Hall can just do whatever he wants to do. He's a white man. He doesn't have to act a certain way.
No, but seriously, I think you
Yeah.
also really wanted the morale a certain way. You wanted to
Yeah.
be fair because they were working hard, and they were. And you know, so I saw that too. So I mean, I was just curious about the extra somebody else getting more. But now that you explained that, now with some management, and you're trying to keep them on because it's harder to find, experienced people. I can get that. So, thank you, President Brown, for the answer.
You're very welcome. Now listen, I had these two other things that I was going to show on screen share, and I think I'll still share them because I had a mindset of what I wanted to talk about tonight, but I've been asking really tough questions. Okay, so go ahead, Darren.
I appreciate it, President Brown, and the rest of my local 1,000 fellow members. I will say, actually, there's one person that probably needs to get fired down there at the local.
Oh boy. Okay.
And just for the simple fact that, his press releases are absolutely garbage. That's Brian.
Okay.
I can find some interns at the high school that can write better press releases and send better better notifications out for email update than he can. And I'm sorry, but he makes what he makes. But man, I can tell you, he could probably do a hell of a lot better.
So, wait, hold on. Let me respond to that real quick, and then I'll let you continue. This is why a lot of times they say, you can't personally like people because they may cloud your judgment. I like Brian Nash. However, you stated to fire Brian Nash, and you're not the first person to tell me to fire Brian Nash. Brian Nash can be quite unprofessional. I'm looking on this call. So, and I've seen Brian Nash be unprofessional. Now, someone tried to say that I was being mean to him on video on February 23rd, 2022. But that wasn't the case because y'all didn't see everything. Y'all didn't hear everything. And he apologized to me for how he acted that night. I'm going to say it again. It's almost 7:30 here on September 21st, 2022. Brian Nash apologized for how he acted with me or towards me on February 23rd, 2022. Because he was very disrespectful. You say, well, how do we know that? Trust me, it's coming. When I tell you I got something, I got something. So, I know you say, he should be fired, but you're not the first person to say that to me, Darren. Go ahead, Darren.
Oh, and the thing is I'm not all for firing people. I'm all for giving people opportunities, but just seeing, there's only so many times where you can, how you would say, apologize after you've done something wrong, and repeated wrongs, and then you try to apologize for it. That's being duplicitous on that person's part.
You know what, Darren? I don't know Brian Nash that well, but you could be right. You could be right. You could be absolutely 1,000% correct. I don't know. I took what he said. I accepted his apology. Because Brian has an interesting way of communicating. But then again, so do I. So, the things that you wouldn't tolerate, Darren, a person like me would say, not a big deal.
That's true, but here's the thing.
Okay.
You're the president. He's a public relations guy.
Yes.
Plain and simple. Public relations, communications. That's your job. Your job is not to hold an opinion on anything else. Your job is just to execute what you're requested to do. Plain and simple. And if you want to be a mouthpiece for somebody else, then, quit your job, get a state job, and join the union, and run for the board spot. You know, just because you're within that management quasi group doesn't mean you get to sway over anybody else that's an actual member paying the dues and paying their fees to be there.
Now, Darren, you raise a point that's been raised with me before by other members. Some people think the staff is too empowered and that they feel like it's their union, they do what they want to do. It's tricky. Those things they said about Billy Hall is absolutely true. That he doesn't respect the staff. What they said in that vote of no confidence letter, they said every word but bully. That's the one word that they didn't put in there. But some members feel like the staff has not gone above and beyond. Some members feel that the staff sometimes intentionally breaks grievance deadlines and drops cases. And these members who feel like that are not wrong. Some of the staff thinks, as I just saw a comment, that they're better than the members. That comment is accurate. So when I went into office, I knew how people felt about the staff, but I also knew the staff had been treated bad. I was caught in the middle. More information will come out about this. If it was left up to me, Darren, I'd say, oh, let's all sing kumbaya, let's all make peace with one another, let's come together. But they have to respect that I was elected president and I have my powers.
Oh, most definitely. I think we had this discussion about,
Right.
About a month ago, the similar thing of, hey, you know what? Oftentimes you got to kind of, we're in a magic hour situation. We have our contract deadline coming up, and they're, for the sake of manpower and the sake of direction, and there will probably need to be some mea culpas and some apologies, but the thing is, people have got to have the directness and the capability to partition, whatever happened. And they got to understand, this is what we need to do to move forward. This is what we're trying to do for, our membership. And my thing too is, just seeing the UAW complaint, it's almost like, we're like the SEIU management, no matter how much they want to talk about being pro-union, and I'll be honest with you right now, and I'm going to basically call them out. A lot of the management there at the local are what I call cappuccino unionists. They want to run around in the purple and gold, but they want to run things like the bad bosses do at the state. And I don't know if those managers have their own union within.
No, they don't. They don't.
So they're private hires that SEIU. Well, and here's my thing: who hires them? Is it SEIU state?
No, we do. Look, the president makes all the hiring and firing decisions, and this is what.
So basically, we're only as good as the people that are willing to want to come to work for a union.
I would say this. I was asked why I did not clean house when I started. And I said I was trying to overcome that racial stereotype of being an angry, uncooperative black man.
And trying to build a bridge.
Yes. But some people probably needed to go. Now, everyone knows about those two lawsuits when two people were let go and then they sued the union. Everybody knows about those two lawsuits. I can't talk about what happened, but everybody knows that when I did fire two people, quote, the union got sued. Me and the union got sued. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. But I will say this. If by the grace of God, I'm put back in my position with my powers, will I be the exact same as before? It's hard to say. Hard to say. But like I said, when 2,637 people get together and they say, hey, Richard, you're about to do this, this, and this, they're calling my car. And as long as it's not illegal or immoral, then they'll get their way with me. Because you have to remember something. How did I get here? By people taking a chance on voting on me. And if those people stay true, then now I need more people to stay true. Not just those who voted for me, but I need people who didn't vote for me to stay true. Because if they remove me from office, then they'll say, well, you know, my supporters will say, well, you didn't clean house. And all I was trying to do was make sure our house stayed together. And trying to give people benefit of the doubt. What I was never given as a black man in this country in a leadership position. That many black men are not given when they arrive into a leadership position. We don't get benefit of the doubt. So when people say, well, oh, you make this all racial, I got these two things I'm going to show here in a second. And you're going to see what I'm saying.
And I just want to go ahead and close out because, you know, I feel I'm pretty good at reading tea leaves.
Okay.
And, you know, this will, you know, we have, you know, the board getting together here in the next, I guess, a few more days.
Yeah, 23rd to 25th.
The thing they got to understand, and I'm hoping some people actually listen to this, especially, you know, some of the DLC presidents that are here. Understand this. If it's being done to RLB right now, what's to stop it from happening from any of the other VPs down the road?
So, I want everyone on Facebook to hear what he said. If they're doing this to RLB, the president of Local 1000, what keeps this from happening to the 3 vice presidents or even to DLC presidents? And I will tell you, Darren, believe this. If you don't believe nothing else I say, if they're able to run me out of the union, more DLC presidents and some of those vice presidents will get run out too. That's a guarantee.
That's all I have, you know,
Okay.
to say. I mean, it comes down to the deal where, you know, we're getting to a point where they're trying, and you know, some people don't want to hear it, cover your ears, but they're trying to dazzle us with bullshit.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have our bullshit detectors turned way up, and we know it when we see it. We don't have to smell it.
Thank you for saying that. Now look, I want to go to this other screen share because I wasn't going to really share these. I put the pictures up on Facebook, but let me go to this because I think it's really important. So this first one is important, and I put up all of the board members' emails, and they're all in order, from the president to the vice presidents, from DLC 701 all the way down to 799. And then the bunk chairs from 1 through 9. The 10 bunk chairs, including State Bar. And so when I said the DLCs from 701 to 799, and then the last one is the State Bar. All right. So this first screen share, this person is now a DLC 785 president. Now I believe. Okay. Someone asked me a question about headquarters DOR on Facebook. For DOR downtown, that DLC president is 788. That's Heather Kessler. Not Kessler, Kessler. Okay? Because I'm in that DLC, 788. All right. So this racist cartoon caricature is by DLC 785 President Jonah Paul. Now, this happened on January 16th, 2022. I can't remember when Dr. King Day was this year. I thought it was January 16th. It may have been the 18th. If someone knows it, put it in here. All right. It says here, this was sent to me from the dark web, meme stash, and it made me chuckle. Sometimes you just have to laugh. Hope we can turn this situation around in the new year and get to the difficult work of organizing for a good contract. Now, he put this up on the state employees page. I am blocked from the state employees page, but it was sent to me This is by DLC 785 President Jonah Paul, downtown Sacramento. So it has this picture of two people, white people, Teresa Taylor and Mary Kay. They're shown as men with men faces with hats on. And it says, "We got you surrounded. Come pass a budget for 2022. Then it says over here on the side, "I hate the board of directors. I hate the board of directors." And it shows this caricature, this man with bug eyes and is black. He has white teeth. I have white teeth. And is black, with his mouth open to show that he's giving you the impression that he's a black man holding a gun, showing that I'm violent and I'm angry and that I have hateful ways. That's how they're trying to use this racist cartoon character against me regarding my leadership. So when people say, "Oh, it's not about race," oh, yes, it is. And I'm going to take you a step further. Here in the state of California, or in any state, anytime a black man has a licensed firearm, or he's carrying a firearm, he's considered a threat, even if it's licensed. You say, "Well, are you sure here in California that's the case?" Yes. Do your history. The Black Panthers took rifles, like the rifle you see in this picture. They took long rifles, and they marched to the Capitol. They went into the state capitol here in California years ago and walked in the hallways with their berets on with these rifles that were loaded. Guess what they did? They cut all that out. You could no longer go to the Capitol with a firearm or a long rifle, because black men did it in an organized fashion. But see, when they put this up, showing that I'm angry and I'm black and I'm out of control, my eyes are raging, that's racist. And this guy now sits on a board, DLC 785, President Jonah Paul. This is who he is. He says, sometimes you just have to laugh. So I guess sometimes when it comes to racial stuff, you just have to laugh about it. But he's a white man laughing. And I'm the black man. I don't find anything funny about this. But this wasn't the only one. So let me go to, I'm going to stop this screen share. Let me go to this other screen share, because people have a tendency to forget, but I don't. Because this hurts. So this year, Denise Quinn Allen on Facebook states, SEIU Local 1000 board meeting scheduled for tonight, April 18th. The Local 1000 Board of Directors will hold a meeting tonight, April 18th, 2022 from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And then you see this character of, it says major breaking. Then it has the Honorable Congressman from LA, Maxine Waters. And then next to it has a clown, a black man with a big grin on his face with white teeth, with white smeared around his mouth. He's a clown. And it says, you need to respect the chair and shut your mouth. And it's talking about, it says, this is Maxine Waters. I'm trying to open this thing up here a little bit. Hold on. Wait a minute. I want to bring this up a little bit. So there it is. So to Maxine Waters, but it says Maxine Waters, then she scribbles out who it was to, it says Richard Lewis Brown. She types my name over it. Then it says, I'm with her, are you? So let me tell you how tricky this racist meme is. She took one black person who doesn't know about this and used it against another black person, me, so that it wouldn't be considered racist. And yes. So this is a very tricky one. But I knew what she was doing. If she used one black person in it with another black person, then it wouldn't come across as being racist. So she thought she was covered. But she's an absolute lie. This is racist, what she did. But this is tricky. But this is still racist. So I'm going to stop this screen share, because I put both of these up along with the UAW 2350 vote of no confidence letter. Sometimes maybe I don't go into enough detail on these situations. And I apologize for that. But this was racist. This will come out. I'm not backing up. And here's the funny thing about this, and I tell people this all the time. As proud as I am as a black man, I was able to get white people to vote for me. I did not win with a minority vote. I'll tell you that, I know that. I got white people to support me. Because I told them that, hey, if it's prejudice, it's prejudice. If it's racist, it's racist. But I told them, you should be proud to be who you are. I'm not going to make you feel inadequate. Because there's no perfect people out here. Now, I don't know many black people running for office that says that. How many black people do you know say that they mama's black boy and they can still win white supporters? I don't know any. Because I tell it the way it is. And some of my ideas are very Democratic. They come from the Democratic Party. And some of my ideas are very Republican. That probably makes me an independent or a libertarian, possibly. But I know racism when I see it. I'm from the state of Missouri. But I also know politics. And I know the value of money. These people will never, ever, ever fight for you to get you a substantial pay increase of 21% or more. They won't do it. They won't even respect the voice of the voters on who they vote into office. And to everyone who's lost sleep, who's had health conditions because of me, I'm really sorry. I've lost sleep too. But nothing great comes easy. When you're trying to make U.S. history, you're in for a fight of a lifetime. All right. Mario, I see your hand raised. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Oh, thanks for taking the phone call.
You're welcome.
Well, Richard, I agree with everything you said, and I will say something else, if I may.
Okay.
Racism is a way to divide people. It's been used as part of the colonial system. I mean, I can go on with that. But another way to divide people is ignorance. Okay? And that was pretty... I'll just give you an example. So I did as you requested. I did ask for the agenda for the board meeting that's occurring this weekend. Well, you know, I called, checked out emails to the MRC. My DLC president didn't respond to me. I was the union president. Lo and behold, we finally got an agenda.
All right.
On the website, right?
Okay.
On the agenda, and it was only partial because I found out later they're actually going to vote on 20 motions. The policy file, okay, everything from, there's one policy motion that I didn't even understand. They talked about it so quickly. I don't think this last night. It was about vacating the chair with the vice president. And I go, what the heck does that mean? You know, and there's, I mean, Richard, so I did this morning. I asked my DLC president, as Annika suggested yesterday at the union meeting, for details on the union meeting. Well, I still haven't gotten a response from the DLC president at all. And I tell you, that's just one aspect of the ignorance that's dividing this union. Okay, we can't get information that should be proper. And of all people, get this, Richard, Scott Smith. Remember our friend Scott Smith?
Yes, yes.
Well, he said something, again, you know, the truth is the truth. And Scott Smith actually spoke the truth. He goes, shouldn't the policy files, all these changes be public, or should be made public to all the members?
So wait a minute. Mario, hold on. Well, this is a tough, look, I knew tonight was going to be a hot night because I had that UAW 2350 full of no confidence letter. But this is.
By the way, I was part of the meeting, Bill Hall. I got more stuff on that. But
okay, but no, because I have to. You're saying, whew, this is a tough night tonight. Everyone's hitting me upside my head tonight. Listen, wait. No, but you're right. So listen to the first thing that you said, because I have to address that really quickly. You asked for the agenda, you got sent the agenda, but then you found out there's more stuff to it. Let me say this to you. You said 20 motions. The agenda that I have does not have no 20 motions on it, I don't believe. So whatever you have, I want you to email it to me, and I'll email you what I have.
It was only verbal through Annika.
Oh, it was verbal.
Yeah.
So you don't have nothing in writing. So here's what I'll do.
And I asked for that.
So Mario, check this out, because you did like I asked you to do.
Yeah.
You send me a text, because I want to make sure. And then you put your email in the text, and I will send you the agenda that I have. That's the first thing. But I want to get to that second part you just said, and then I'll let you continue on.
Yeah.
Vacate the chair. Okay. This is the great thing about watching my videos. I came out talking fast and loud. Some people watch that and then they'll go away. Some people come in the middle and get a lot of good stuff. They saw me being real calm, real smooth. And then people come towards the end and they'll get some good stuff too. Vacate the chair is a hustle. This is internal politics on the board. They're fighting on the board. Annika wants to be the president, but David now wants to be the president as well. So even though he's the acting president, all the powers allegedly through the illegal creation of the chair got shifted to the chair. But the problem is the union leave situation. Okay, so Billy and David are arguing. The original deal was for Annika and MTC to get me out of office through the H1 process because they were hoping that Kevin Miniger would win the election. That didn't happen. So finally they got Irene to go along with them to, quote, suspend me after they were already suspended of their duties. But the key was David would take over and then he would just give it over to Annika. Well, now David doesn't want to give it over to Annika. So what they've been trying to say is, we'll vacate the chair. Here's their problem with their mindset. This is why they were trying to convince me to go to these meetings, and they're wrong. I said that I had suspended the duties of the vice presidents. Therefore, any meetings called after February 25th are illegal meetings. I had already suspended the duties. They said, well, we don't care about that. Second and Superior Court upheld our decision to suspend you. Now listen to this. They suspended me because they said they did theirs right. But yet, when I suspended them of their duties, I didn't do mine right. It's hot garbage. In the meantime, when they called the meeting, David, as the acting president, called the meeting on March 5th. The deal was, Irene, help us suspend Richard on February 27th. Irene only agreed because Billy Hall said, if they do that, Irene, we're going to make David Jimenez call the emergency board meeting on March 5th, and then we're going to ratify everything we did from the October 16th and 17th board meeting that made me the chair. And that's what they did on March 5th, and it was a yes or no vote. It was no debate. Now you have conflict, because that's not how David and Annika wanted it to happen. They wanted to be in charge, not Billy, because they're MTC. Billy's Yvonne. Billy Hall is part of the Yvonne crew. So there's this constant battle. So now they talk about, they've been trying to do this, they tried to do this in June and got deferred to now. Vacate the chair. First of all, it makes no sense because the chair was illegally created. So anybody who's trying, right, so anyone who's trying to, quote, vacate the chair, like David and Annika and these other people who support this, you're condoning the illegal behavior of Billy Hall, which I stated in a letter I sent the board before they had the illegal board meeting on October 16th and 17th, 2021 in downtown Sacramento at the Sacramento Democratic headquarters. If you go to the meeting or you support this, you're in subject of disciplinary action. And so now you see this. So now they're saying vacate the chair. So they're validating his illegal behavior. Instead of eliminating the chair altogether, they say just vacate it. In the meantime, David wants to, quote, run to be the chair. Vacate it, empty. So in other words, you have a chair. Here, we just do it like this. You have a chair. Okay, the chair is right here. Billy is in the chair. So Billy, get out of the chair. So now the chair is empty. Billy is no longer in the chair. Okay. So now that the chair is empty, now we'll start using the Robert Rules of Order to do some hustling to get David Jimenez into the chair. So now David Jimenez, they think they got the votes to get David into the chair to act as the chair. Because the chair was empty because they got Billy Hall out of the chair. Here's your problem. Number one, if you think Billy Hall is going to, quote, give up that chair after all the lying and manipulation and begging people to support him to go to his illegal board meeting on October 16th and 17th, along, him and Teresa Taylor and Kevin Healy and all those individuals and Irene Green, if you think he's going to give up that chair easily, wrong answer. Second, does he still have enough votes to keep his chair position? Who's to say? Because they're not going to put that out on video. When they do the video on the 23rd and the 25th, they're not going to show you that. I guarantee you they're not going to show you that. Because you're going to see people fighting. And you're going to say, doggone, hell, at least with Richard's board of directors meetings, he lets the members talk. They don't want you to talk at the meetings. They want you to sit up and know your place. So number one, he's not going to give up his chair easily. Number two, does he still have enough votes to keep his chair? Number three, if he doesn't, and David Jimenez is elected to the chair, then David, you are actually solidifying why, quote, I suspended you of your duties to begin with. This is how dumb they are. Now, some people get mad at me and say, don't say too much, Richard. You always tell them stuff and then you help them. I can't help it. This is the God, this is the righteousness in me. When you call me out, I'm going to call back. Now, a few times tonight, I had to hold back. I ain't holding back on this one. Not on this one. So, but here's that's the third thing. Here's the fourth problem they have. Billy doesn't want to give up the chair. Billy thinks he still has enough votes to keep the chair. Billy called the meeting, so the parliamentarian is going to do whatever the hell Billy tells him to do. You say, well, how do you know that, Richard? Trust me, I know. Okay, now, if David Jimenez gets the chair, then he's validating the illegal behavior that Billy did. But here's the fifth problem, and the sixth and the seventh problem. David, they're lying to you. Because you don't know who's coming for that chair besides yourself. It could be Kevin Healy. It could be somebody else on that board. Now, it could be Annika Walls running for that chair. So someone said, well, how many positions can a person hold in Local 1000 as an officer?
Well, I got a question here on that, okay?
Okay.
Too, that's a very good rendition. But if Mr. Jimenez becomes the chair, okay, then that means the vice presidency, which is an elected position, which I wrote in the chat here, that has to be voted on, doesn't it? I mean, you just can't insert something. Now, I got a follow-up question. And then, okay, that's one. And so, like playing musical chairs up there. Two, this whole thing about, okay, if you do this, I do that, you can vote for me. Isn't that quid pro quo? Isn't that illegal? I mean, I'm not.
Listen, look. Hold on. Right. So let me say this to you, Mario.
Yeah.
People on that board are making deals all the time. They are not representing their membership. How do you know this? When I told you in those PowerPoint slides, 33 of the 51 DLC presidents, the number 33, and I went by 33.46% or whatever, 33 presidents ran unopposed. Which means there's no connection between them and their membership.
Including Bill Hall.
And thank you, including Bill Hall. You're absolutely right. So they don't represent anybody but themselves. And I was saying that on my PowerPoint presentations over and over and over again. Now, you said, you asked, if David was to become the chair, then who would be the vice president, secretary, treasurer? Or could the vice president, secretary, treasurer also be the chair? You know what? I'm not even going to tell the answer.
Amen.
I'm not going to tell the answer. But everybody knows that you can't do that. That's all I'm going to say. But, and here's where your parliamentarian is wrong. He knows it too. But that's how the game is played. But more critical than that, the chief counsel and Giese knows you can't do this. So when people were talking months ago about, oh, Richard, you're being sued, we're going to sue the union and blah, 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 blah. Really? Where the lawsuits at? People did all that talk, but I didn't see no lawsuits get filed. I'm trying to keep the union together. That's why I never encouraged lawsuits. But people said they're going to sue the union. The only person that's being sued is Richard Lewis Brown. And your money and my money is being used against me, and Local 1000 will not fully indemnify me. Now, I see Londa Williams said they'd have to vote for another VP. No, not necessarily. No, they would not. You better read the policy file again. You better read the California Corporations Code. I have. That's why I say that even if I was to lose in court, the decision will probably. Oh, that was to another question. Okay, that's fine.
Well, there's a lot more to discuss. I mean, 20 motions, right?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Now, when I send you the agenda, you text me, you send your email.
Okay. I'll try to write down the notes what I got from Monica,
Okay.
but she was talking so fast last night. Okay, I couldn't
Right.
recall.
But here's the problem with her. This is how you catch her.
Oh, I know.
When they are talking, make them put it in writing. They never will. So everything that she's saying, if you don't put that in writing, it means nothing. And remember, her video is for stewards only, and then they keep that video. That's not up on Facebook. So when I do my videos, that's why they come at me and they be throwing punches at me, because I go live in front of everyone. So every word that I use will be used against me. But eventually, it's all going to come out anyway. This is all going to come out. And these people, it ain't just Billy Hall acting up on the board of directors. There's a few of these board of directors that, quote, need to be fired. Because they're not representing the members, and they have no intention of ever representing the members because they never have. When you run for an office and no one competes against you, then you can do it how you want to do. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay. I won't take everybody's time, but it was interesting meeting today with Bill Hall on Straight Talk, quote unquote. And there's a lot of issues, but I'll bring up one that was about the first one. It was by Fernando from EDD, our poor people with their EDD. Okay. And he asked the question, there are a lot of offices that are being closed. And of course, Bill Hall was like, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Okay, I go, huh? Okay. But, he came on, how come there's not stewards? How come there people aren't informing us? And Bill Hall goes, well, I urge you to become a union steward. Those non-answers, okay, quite frankly. Then I followed up with a question later on, and maybe you know this answer, Richard, but I know for a fact, in 2020, EDD hired 10,000 limited term full-time employees. I repeat, limited term full-time, which means these new employees didn't get any benefits even though they were working full-time. And actually, I think it's probably illegal with the government code. And I asked the question to Bill Hall, how come there was an unfair labor practice filed? And he goes, well, we're trying to get the limited term people full-time positions, but we had limited success. Then I was cut off. But Richard, this is kind of stuff that the union is looking for leadership from the union to say, hey, keep our jobs, enforce the contract, and he just let and he basically becomes an apologist for the state. I mean, it gets old fast for me at least, and I think some other people too. Anyway, I want to take a very.
Hold on, no. Hold on a second, Mario.
Okay.
So Mario, I want people on Facebook to hear this. Mario said, sometime in 2020, 20,000 limited term, full-time people were hired at EDD.
Between March and June, yes, of 2020, they were hired.
Now, okay, and so then you said you asked Billy Hall about it, and he didn't really give you an answer, and he became somewhat of an apologist. So someone, okay, Now, if you would have asked me that question, you know what I would have told you?
What?
Bump chair one. Make sure the next contract that we only allow, I don't know, 100 limited term full-time, or we don't allow no limited term full-time EDD employees, or we won't sign that contract for bargaining unit one.
By a contract, I thought you can only have one limited term or part-time for every full-time position.
So now.
No, that's bargaining number 4 under NBRs.
Hold on. Now, I think you may be right about that. Now, I said don't allow any of it, or only allow like maybe 100 or something like that. So if someone that came back and said, well, Richard, by our contract, if we have one full-time, then by our contract, we can hire one limited term. Then I would say, you know what, cut all that out and make it a flat number and reduce that down dramatically for bargaining unit 1 for that contract to protect the jobs in EDD. It's just that simple. Don't sign the contract. Stop doing the same childlike, condescending contracts. The continuation of the childlike, condescending contracts, the 4 C's. It's not hard. But when you have someone with the attitude of Billy Hall, because he says the state of California is your boss. I have said this repeatedly, Mario. I am the only local 1,000 leader that publicly and maybe even privately tells you the state of California is not your boss. We are a 50-50 partner. Why am I the only one that ever says that? Everything that I say that they try to copy, this is the one thing they won't say. See, I say things in a certain way where I know you can't come behind me and outdo me. Because I put your butt on a line.
Well, respectfully, Richard, I think you may have hit some hot buttons around there because EDD also did something else. EDD also did something else during the pandemic that was, I think, may have been legal, but it was immoral. And that was this.
Okay.
They put a lot of people from DIR, Department of Industrial Relations, and other departments on overtime. So there were people at DIR making twice as much as they were in the basic pay, basically $20,000 and $30,000 a month. I don't know if people understand that, but they were banking a lot of overtime hours during the pandemic, and nothing's been said about it. And now at this time, EDD employees are having to suffer, and they're closing offices, and they're going to be layoffs.
So,
and it's like, Richard, there's just, I mean, I don't want to even go there anymore, but it's just too much.
No. Everyone on Facebook, I was fighting for the jobs in CDCR at CCC in Lassen County. Now that fight may be about over, but I would tell people don't give up on CCC because even though they say they're closing that prison ain't really closing down. Hopefully people kept listening tonight because I'm always giving out information. But let's go to EDD and DMV. I told you, under a signed contract, nobody represented by Local 1000 loses a job, period. And I was going to fight the state of California. Period. That's it. And in the next contract, I stated, and this is not how I stated this. I said the next contract, it will state, for the length of this contract, there will be no job loss in any department, period. The state of California, they'll never sign that, Richard. They will go on strike. Because if you have a contract where people can still lose a job, you don't have a contract, or you have a contract that gives all the power to the state, and you don't have enough sense as a union to protect your jobs. It makes absolutely no doggone sense.
Right on, Richard.
So that's why I got a little loud.
I want to leave Darren because I think he has something to say.
Oh, okay.
He's a very eloquent speaker.
Okay.
No, actually, it's actually something I want to really add to this because it's
Go ahead.
a big piece that our union has completely disregarded, and it's you bring it up at DMV as well. EDD, EDD has been victimized.
Yes.
They brought in, our glorious Governor Newsom, under his emergency powers. They brought in Deloitte to augment the workload.
Yes.
Right? We brought workers in for contact tracing, hundreds of millions of dollars, whose employees were not really even doing the work to begin with, who are making more money than the employees at EDD, and that would be including wages and benefits. So how is that fair when we have a governor running around telling everybody, oh, there's no money, but yet no bid contracts with people who donate to his campaign, Deloitte, get a free pass. And I'm sorry, Richard, it actually had preceded you.
Okay.
And I'm disappointed in a lot of the DLC presidents, especially the DLC president who is at EDD, and I wonder who that is, for not bringing it up and making it a huge issue and making it an issue for our union to rally around. And it's just unbelievable. And even right now with the stuff that's going on in DMV, I mean, DMV is going through quote unquote modernization right now, with having a whole bunch of contractors come through that our director has worked with in the past under the governor's no bid contracts. We have Amazon Web Services on a no bid contract. We have Salesforce on a no bid contract. I mean, this stuff is ridiculous, and our DLC presidents at our union are completely asleep. That's it.
But Darren, let's say something else. We have the state contracting manual, okay, and I'm sure you're familiar with that, and also the state administrative manual. But this is where it gets really tricky, Richard. The governor has used emergency powers, thank you for catching that, Darren, to circumvent the moral and ethical process. It may be legal under emergency, but is it moral? Is it ethical?
So,
I don't know, Richard. I'm so glad you're here.
well, hold on, wait. What you, Mario, is saying, along with Darren, when I was fighting for those jobs in CCC, people kept saying I was ignoring DMV, and I wasn't. I was not ignoring DMV. But CC got all the publicity because we did that big rally. I would have did rallies for DMV and EDD. Remember, I started my state service in EDD. But all this political trickery that this governor is doing under the emergency powers, it was just an excuse for him to, as you say, give the payback to his lobbyists. Remember, I told you, if you have $100 billion that you're on record for fiscal year 22-23, that you acknowledge nearly $100 billion, there's more billions that you're not telling us about. But that $100 billion that you're acknowledging, you better get in line to get that money. And that's why I said, with our pay raises, with total cost, I think it was going to cost $7 billion. I think we did it on a PowerPoint slide. $7 billion out of $100 billion. There's still enough left to pay off your lobbyist friends. There's still enough left. There's enough money to go around. But he doesn't care. And so what Mario and Darren are saying on Zoom, everyone on Facebook, Gavin Newsom is hooking and crooking and hurting our jobs, which is no different than what he was doing when he was, quote, stopping or ending the firefighter rehabilitation program for the inmates in CCC. And then when the fires got out of control up there, you see him fly up there in a helicopter or whatever and act like he's doing something, when he's the reason why the fires are out of control to begin with.
And Richard, I'm going back to my beginning of this call.
Yes.
One way to keep us ignorant and not know everything, keep us ignorant. Keep us ignorant. And Bill Hall does a very good job of that. He keeps us dumb. Okay? And listening to Annika last night is like, just the bare minimum of any information. I mean, maybe 4 minutes was actually productive. They keep us ignorant.
And I'm sorry.
I'll look at before.
No, wait. Hold on, Mario. Don't leave. Mario has said something on Zoom. Everybody on Facebook, I want y'all to hear this. He says that Bill Hall and Annika Walls does a great job on keeping us dumb. You can only be kept dumb if you want to stay dumb.
I agree.
Because everyone has my phone number. Everybody has my email address. Hell, people have my living address. If people in Local 1000 are staying dumb, that means you want to stay dumb. That means you like the abusive relationship. You like being abused. Don't get on Facebook. Don't come crying about you want a pay increase when you let them run the president out who was fighting for you for your dignity. When these people are saying, hey, help us get a good contract, here's a purple t-shirt, take that purple t-shirt and throw it in the trash. Why would you ever want to wear purple when you're paying $688,000 a month to SEI International? That's their color, purple. Purple and gold, that's their official colors. You don't ever see me wear no purple and gold. It's silly. You think International cares about me being run out of office? No, they don't care. They're the ones behind it too. They want me gone as well. They have a mutual interest. Because of money. They support Gavin Newsom. All right, listen. Tonight was going to be a hot night, and it was. I said some things tonight that I've never said before. That's why when people say, oh, Richard, he says the same thing. Yeah, I do say the same thing because I'm saying the truth. I do repeat messaging. But I also give you new stuff. So it's like going to class. You don't go to class, you think the teacher's just going to say the same old thing, but sometimes the teacher will drop extra credit. But you didn't go that day, so he didn't get the extra credit. Sometimes the teacher will give an answer to the test on a particular class day, but you didn't go, so you didn't get it. And you didn't ask your friends for what happened in class that day. Which is when I say, hey, you don't come to my videos, but you're not talking to your coworkers who do come to my videos. So you can stay educated. So they want to keep you dumb and stupid. And like he said, Mario said, racism has been used to divide us along with money and religion. All these different things divide us out. It's all about keeping us divided and keep us arguing among ourselves. The largest public sector union for state employees in the state of California is in disarray. And then they're going to say, well, it's because of Richard. No, it wasn't because of Richard. Richard was clear-cut and clear on his message. I didn't lie to anyone on anything. However, our union is a cesspool. I put up the board of directors' emails. I hope you email them and tell them to restore me back to power, to my presidency with my powers. I put up all those emails. There's no excuse. You say, well, I don't know who my DOC president is. It doesn't matter. Email the whole board. All individuals. Email them. All you got to do is go on Facebook, copy, and paste it in an email and send it out. It's just that easy. And I told you what to say in the email. You can just copy and paste that too. I did all the work for you. Because people say, well, I don't have time. That'll take you 3 or 4 minutes, if that long. Well, I don't have Facebook. Yes, you do. Or your family does. Somebody that you know that works for the state of California has Facebook that can go on my open page and get the information. Anyone that wants to help me, text me 408-207-2339. I need more help because we're getting ready to pick up the pace. All right. It's almost 8:21 on 9:21, so we're going to stop exactly on 8:21. It's been fun tonight. Oh, please say that number again. 408-207-2339. Hopefully, you can understand all of my words tonight. I said them clearly, accurately. Some words is hard for me to say. But I want to thank everyone. Okay, good, you got it. I want to thank everyone. And you know what? The next time we do a video, next Wednesday night, if Carl comes on, Carl, I'm going to make you talk. Because you've been quiet, you've been watching, and I've been watching you on Zoom. Okay, so this was the video. Oh, good. So this was the video. I did a lot of talking tonight. I said a lot of new things tonight. Please review the video. It's 8:21 on September 21st, 2022. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. It's been a pleasure. And who knows, I may do a video in the next couple of days. I don't know. But stay tuned because we got a lot more stuff coming. We are not going to give up.
Good night, President Brown.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mr. President.
All right, good night. And good night, everyone on Facebook.
Good night, Mr. President.
Everyone.
Good night.